Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Geminis. Technically, for me, I still say that this is Sunday, but I know the clock has technically rolled over to Monday morning. But my day, my day doesn't stop at the end of the night. So, I still want to get you guys your final video of the week. So, you guys did get two this week, by my count. But this is for the energy of the mythology storytelling, and one other zodiac got this, and because of that, I actually, when I was pre-shuffling for you, this card came out, the moon, and I was like, somebody I know got this, so let me reshuffle, and it came out again, and I was like, no, this is Gemini's card. So although I cannot recall right now whom, what other zodiac, it might have been Taurus, I'm not sure. It was one from yesterday. Um, but in any case, we have got Selene. So the mythology story about Selene, she is sister to Helios, the sun. She, like her brother, rides a chariot across the sky, but she's not just the goddess of the moon, she is actually the embodiment of the moon itself in Greek mythology. So although she is like oftentimes spoken about along with like the goddess Hecate, another goddess of the moon, just bear in mind she is different because she is actually the moon. But it's said in mythology that she rides across the sky in her chariot, but unlike her brother Helios carrying the sun across the sky in his chariot, she has two horses that are pure white as opposed to his four. So just kind of some other side notes there. And there's several different mythological stories about her. Um, in one of them, she falls in love with a mortal man, but she also has affairs with Pan and also with Zeus, in fact. But she falls in love with a mortal man, and it kind of like likes to watch him sleep. And Zeus gives this man the choice of like how he'd like to handle things, and he chooses like a form of like forever sleep where he doesn't age, doesn't die, but it's kind of like I guess it can be interpreted as like that's the way he remains kind of close to her. So it's kind of a, I don't know, that love story is a little bit different in the sense that there's, you know, the pull, and of course the moon is about a gravitational pull. The moon is also about things that are hidden. Um, and things about the subconscious. So it's kind of a murky tale for a murky card. But we'll see where this is going to take us. And forgive me if I cough just a little bit here and there in this. So we have a Nine of Cups. By the way, we start out with Piscean energy there for the moon. And now we've got somebody who's kind of indulging, again, with water energy. Ace of Pentacles. Could be that someone's been having a good old time, but they're ready to make some changes and do things a little differently. Maybe even the fun has run out, or the overindulgent energy has gotten to be like, you know what, this was fun, this, but a little bit too much drink, a little bit too much party, and now I want something more. This could even be somebody who's saying, look, I've been happy single, but I'd like something more than that. Sure enough, we do have a King of Cups. So it definitely looks like, is Gemini dealing with a water sign? I mean, because really we have mostly all water with the exception of a little bit of earth. So, and the only earth we see is a personal desire to do things differently. I don't want to be single anymore. My single life's been amazing, but in truth, I want to give my heart to somebody. I want to give love. Is this is this somebody who's like wanting to come in and offer their heart? Ooh, I would say yes. In this case, we have got the King of Swords and the Prince of Cups, which is Eros, or Cupid. Somebody got struck by the love bug, and I feel like however they looked at Gemini, I don't think that they saw this coming. I do not think that they would have expected to fall in love with Gemini. And Gemini could be quite stern. Gemini could be somebody who like didn't even like them. I mean, this could literally be, Gemini might be in their masculine energy, whether they're masculine or a feminine is irrelevant, but Gemini may be in like a very formidable, very stern, like, I'm not dealing with somebody who's just all about a good time. I'm a wolf and I'm an alpha wolf. So alpha pair mates for life. I'm not dealing with somebody that's just out for number one, always having a good time. I would only, date or, mess with somebody who's got an idea that they want to be in the pack. And not only that, but they want to be mated and be, the leaders of a pack, not somebody who's just out there living their best life. So kind of, it's funny, like an update just popped up on my computer saying I could do a Defenders update, for some whatever Microsoft Defender update stuff. And it's just funny because this is a very defensive, like, yeah, you're not coming toward me. But it's funny because I'm wondering if that's what made them go like, oh my God, I really like this Gemini. I like how stern they are. There's something where it's not what they would have expected. Hi guys, so good to see everybody. Hey, Annie S. I will release the Capricorn video probably right after this. I've already recorded one, but it was just still processing. It should be out right after this. This looks like a bit of a surprise, even to them, that I'm interested in somebody who won't have anything to do with me. 10 of Swords. Yeah, in fact, it made me grow up. It made me change. It made me realize I'd like to do things differently. Even with this 10 of Swords, this is like, the Valkyrie is coming along. And, in Norse mythology, when the warriors, fell in battle, the Valkyrie would come along and scoop up their spirits. And it was considered to be, like this very huge honor. And then they'd be taken into, the halls of Freya. And so this just feels like this ending with a rebirth, with this heroic, like, oh my gosh, this is what I want instead. This Gemini won't have anything to do with me, but I want him. I like him. I don't care about the whining and dining anymore. I want to do things different. I want to be this hero. I want to be part of an alpha mate scenario. I want to be part of the alpha wolf pack. Now, the only problem I see here is sometimes Cupid, Eros, this can represent like falling in love with love itself. And keep in mind, in the stories of Cupid, Eros, he would sometimes have people become smitten with each other that really shouldn't have been. And I'm just wondering if there's not some element where maybe this isn't really a great matchup. But they are all hot and bothered over Gemini. I just feel like they have not had the quality of like personality that Gemini had wanted. So 8 of Swords. Okay, so I have to say, because this is our Gemini's card, I'm wondering if Gemini is not being 100% honest, because it looks like Gemini is holding themselves back on purpose. No, I don't want them. I don't. Also, Gemini could have like a very strong like Viking spirit, or an interest in that past cultural, like maybe they feel a past life or something. Maybe they are somebody who's like unafraid of being brave and doing battle and stuff, but they are kind of fighting with themselves. What are the guides they're trying to say to Gemini? Because we got 2 guides up overhead. We got all these runes hanging, like there's messages all over the place. 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles says, I know, Gemini, you say you don't want them, but it seems like under the right circumstances, you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can say, oh, that person's beautiful. That person is, oh man, they're just my type, except I don't want somebody who's just, wouldn't make a good partner. But sometimes great people, the reason they're single and just live in their own life is because they haven't met someone to step up and become a great partner for. It doesn't have to, this card gets a bad rap for being like selfish or intentionally, just here for a good time, not a long time, when really Why would we ever commit to something if we haven't found what we're seeking yet? If we haven't found the person that we want to commit to? Like, why buy a house if you don't really want to live in one spot and you're not ready to have a mortgage yet, and you're going to be too far away to rent it out and keep tabs on it? Then maybe there's a reason that you didn't want to put down roots yet, and that's okay. But know where you're at in life. But that doesn't mean that somebody who doesn't own a house yet doesn't want one, or won't make a terrific homeowner, or whatever, like a tenant, or a landlord, or whatever. They could be great, but they just weren't finding something to invest in. So I do want to put that out there, because nothing here says that this person isn't mature. It just says that up until they saw Gemini, they were content to be single and have a good time. But I think it's exactly why Gemini was like, yeah, okay, fine, I'm interested. Yeah, that's the kind of person I would want, but I don't want them because they've been so 9 of Cups. Yes, but if them being smitten with Gemini is enough to make them want to step up, then what's so wrong with that? We got the Ace of Swords sideways. And again, all these runes, we've got the Sword of Truth over the Tree of Life. Again, we've got a couple of guides coming on in. Here's the thing. If Gemini can change their opinion on things, of course, so too can this other individual, who seems to be this King of Cups, seems to be quite smitten. And I do think that the guides are just saying, hey, just entertain the idea, Gemini. If this person approaches you in a different way than what you would have expected, then treat them in a different way than what you would have thought. If Gemini is like, no, I just think that they're a goofball, I mean, a really sexy one, but they're just a goofball, I don't want to deal with them. But they approach you in a respectful King of Cups manner, why blow them off and treat them? That would be unfair. That would be Gemini not being very honest with themselves, nor very fair with that person. Why would I treat you like you're someone who's, whatever, just to play around, when that's not the way you might be approaching me? It's like, meet somebody in the energy that they're in. And it just kind of says that if Gemini, I think Gemini will do that anyway, but it's so interesting because it's like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they're going to approach me that way. It still keeps feeling like Gemini is quite resistant to the idea that this person is going to be different than what Gemini has seen of them. 2 of Cups. Okay, so in this storyline, there's a whole bunch of emotion here. There's a whole bunch of like sincere love. I think that this person, this king, could actually help to heal some part of Gemini that Gemini doesn't even needs healing. And I do think that them encountering Gemini, the reason meeting Gemini was powerful enough for them to step up and become a full-blown king, is because this bond is really quite special. Look, there's nothing here that says this person was just like, a player or a liar or deceptive, anything like that. Just says it was somebody who was kind of living life for themselves. So, and that doesn't even mean selfish. This is not a bad card. This is just somebody loving life, spending their money on what they want to, taking trips, buying, items that they personally want, indulging in themselves because they didn't have a partner to share things with. But now they're like, I'm thinking about, whatever, creating a house. I'm thinking about offering a stable, emotional, long-term relationship. Like all of those things are on their mind. And I just think this speaks very highly of just how much they're growing because they met somebody to grow for, which is Gemini. And I can see Gemini being resistant, and it makes sense. But on the other hand, I kind of think this is going to work out great for these two. That moon, the things that are hidden, the things that we wouldn't have expected, maybe an unlikely pairing, unlikely to have fallen head over heels for a certain person when we never thought that was going to be our type. All of that, I don't know, it fits very nicely together. I think this is beautiful. Now, I will say that one thing I didn't mention earlier is that there is, in Greece, there is a saying, like a proverb, about like don't bring the moon down on yourself. And it's like in a negative light. So at one point in time when there would be eclipses, um, the moon isn't visible, but then there's also these stories of like different sorcerers in mythology that would claim that they could, hide the moon, but it's believed that that was connected to when there were eclipses, and that was the explanation for that. But essentially, when somebody would do that, the sorceress or something would hide the moon or take it away, it would always bring them bad luck. And so there's like this proverb in Greek about like don't bring the moon down upon yourself. It's Pisoftovni Seleni Kaftheris. And so there's just this energy of like, hey, don't wreck a good thing. And I kind of think maybe that is the best message on this one. Like, let things play out, let people show you if they're mature instead of insisting they couldn't be. There's no way they could be. I won't let them be mature and imagine that they're approaching me nicely, even if they do. I'm still going to treat them like, I think you're a 9 of Cups. And so it just says, don't sabotage. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. We will leave this one here tonight. I love that, Dana. Yeah, sweet. That's great. Thanks again, Annie S. Nice to see everybody. All right, sweet dreams or good morning, wherever you may be. And I'm going to go release the Capricorn video now. All right, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Well, somewhere on Monday. Bye.